Hi, I'm Dr. Paula Mowbray from the Department of Employment Relations and Human Resources, and I'm here to talk to you today about the rise of the independent worker and the gig economy. There is great diversity in the individuals who undertake digital platform work, and a number of reasons why they are drawn to this type of work. However, there are also disadvantages to gig work and working as an independent contractor, which we will explore in this topic. So by the end of this topic, you should be able to discuss the types of individuals who are likely to participate in digital platform work and assess the benefits and challenges of working in the gig economy. In most parts of the world, gig workers are classified as freelancers or independent contractors rather than employees, which means that gig workers will typically not receive the benefits usually provided to employees, such as regular employment, minimum wages, superannuation, minimum shift lengths, and unfair dismissal laws. One of the biggest implications of this is that workers then have to take on all the responsibility and risk for any work that they accept. For example, if an independent contractor gets sick, there is no sick leave. And if an Uber driver has a car accident, it is their own insurance that will need to pay for the damage. Over the past few years, we have seen a lot of debate, strikes, and in some cases even court cases concerning whether particular gig workers, such as Uber drivers, should be classified as an employee. And it's likely that these debates will continue as gig workers seek to improve their conditions to at least match those that employees receive. There's a diverse group of people involved in gig work using digital platforms in our society. A report commissioned by the Victorian Department of Premier and Cabinet revealed those people who are more likely to be doing this type of work in Australia. It found that younger people aged between 18 and 34 and males are more likely to work through digital platforms than any other demographic groups. People who live in a major city are more likely to have undertaken platform work than those who live in regional and remote areas. Platform workers also provide opportunities for more marginalised workers who find it more difficult to secure standard employment. People who identify as living with a disability, temporary residents, and those who spoke a language other than English at home were more likely to participate in digital platform work. Temporary residents are 3 times more likely to be a current platform worker. So one of the positives that has arisen from the gig economy is that marginalised workers may have improved opportunities to participate in work. In particular, it does enable rural residents and people with disabilities or those with caregiving obligations to participate in work. It also allows anonymity, in the case of crowd work, for example, so that people who might usually feel discriminated against, they may feel more comfortable and more accepted in the workplace. While some choose to work as an independent worker because it is their preferred choice, perhaps enjoying the autonomy that it brings and possibly earning more money, others are doing it out of necessity rather than it being their preferred choice of work. Often those doing it as their primary income have no other option, such as someone who may be on a temporary work visa, who may find it difficult finding other employment. Others may be willingly doing it to earn a little extra cash on the side, while they also earn income from other jobs. While those who are experiencing financial difficulty will also use this form of work to assist with that burden. So we know that there's a large proportion of the population worldwide who are participating in the gig economy, so there must be benefits for doing so. However, like any work, there are both benefits and drawbacks to independent contracting and gig work. I'm currently doing research on rideshare drivers, and the 2 most common reasons they give me for working as a rideshare driver is the autonomy and the flexibility that it gives. Independent workers are often able to work and reschedule their own hours, working where and where they wish. This flexibility helps them to balance work, life, and family. For many, it also provides the opportunity to supplement their income, while others work as independent contractors because they have the opportunity to earn more than they could if they were doing similar work as an employee. Another advantage is that it can be easier to find and perform the work, as there's an independent third party acting as the go-between for the person requiring the work and the person who will undertake the work. So for example, a company might need a graphic designer to design a website, and so they will post that job on the platform Freelancer. The graphic designer will then bid for the job using that Freelancer platform, and then if selected by the company who posted the job, they will be engaged to do the job and then securely paid at the end of the job through Freelancer. So without having to outlay money to advertise their services, the graphic designer is easily able to obtain these projects. However, there are also some significant drawbacks for some independent workers. Researchers have identified that worker anxiety can be increased because there is often so much variability of work, and the independent contractor is often unsure of how much demand there will be or how much money they will earn. For example, an Uber driver could go out to work on a Friday night expecting there to be lots of customers. But if there are a lot of drivers that night, they may not be given that many jobs, or they may only be given short trips that don't pay very much money. In some areas of work, such as delivery drivers or microtaskers, they may be exploited, such as working too many or too few hours, having a very low rate of pay, and working in unsafe conditions. Because independent workers are not employees, they don't have the same benefits that regular employees have. For example, they're not entitled to holiday or sick leave, and they don't receive superannuation. And there's also no clear path for career progression. Many independent workers claim that it's very difficult to voice or to raise issues or concerns with the organising platform, often finding it difficult to even speak with a person, and instead often relying on messages and chatbots. So for many, there is really no sense of power or the ability to influence decisions that are made by the organisation that may actually affect themselves. One of the biggest issues faced by rideshare drivers in particular is that they are controlled by an algorithm where they're monitored by software that tracks their acceptance and their cancellation rates and their customer ratings. In some cases, this actually leads to workers being deactivated or disbarred as users for minor or alleged transgressions in performance. When this occurs, because it's so difficult to speak to someone in the organisation, they often find it difficult to get reactivated. And the drivers I've spoken to feel that the platform will often take the side of the rider and will not support the drivers. Because independent contract workers have the autonomy to choose their own hours, this can sometimes tempt some workers to work long hours at times of peak demand, jeopardising their own or others' safety. Once again, this is a real concern for rideshare drivers. Companies such as Uber will limit the hours that a driver can work. However, because there are multiple apps they can use, it's easy for them to just switch to using another app for rideshare driving, such as using Ola. And finally, many of these platforms are operated by offshore companies, so it's likely to be very difficult to launch legal claims against them if needed. So in summary, these new ways of working have really disrupted established business models and traditional forms of employment, leading to a range of benefits and drawbacks for those who are tied to the gig economy, whether through choice or necessity. While there are risks and implications for business around the distinction of being a contractor, benefits do appear for those marginalised groups who may experience less forms of discrimination as they work outside of the workplace.